How long can wooden gears last? For my tests, I wanted a quiet, low-speed motor, so I took this ceiling fan motor, made all the wires come out the back, and then added this wooden flange on the front so I could put a shaft in there and power some gears. I'm going to make one of my gears out of Baltic birch, which is what I always use and is probably the best material, and the other out of MDF, which a lot of people have asked me about, so we'll find out how that does. My bandsaw blade's gotten a little bit dull, so it cuts very slowly, but for cutting gears that's actually kind of convenient. I'm using some roller skate ball bearings, and these fit into these blocks here, which will hold the whole thing together. Now I need some kind of load on this shaft just to make sure these gears are actually transmitting power, and for that I'm going to spin this board in the air, and that fits on here fairly tight, but just to make sure that it's not going to slip, I'm going to squish it together with a little clamp. I think that load slows down the motor a little bit too much, so I'll just shorten that board for a bit less air resistance. Now anytime gears are under load, it would make sense to lubricate them, even wooden ones, so I'm using this solid bowl finish to grease them up. I also switched to AC power so I wouldn't overheat my power supply. Just a bit of grease on them makes them run much quieter. Okay, now I just need to run the gears until something wears out. After 10 minutes of running straight, I don't really see any noticeable signs of wear, so this test might last a while. Half an hour in, I still don't see any wear, but I also noticed this clamp wasn't tight enough, so the shaft was slipping in here and it got hot. So on with the test. So after an hour, you can definitely see which side of the tooth on here is getting the wear, at least on the MDF gear. On the plywood gear, not so much. So these gears now have been running 6 hours straight, and looking at them I just can't really see any obvious signs of wear. So I'm pretty sure these would run for a week straight before there'd be any sort of problem. I'm sometimes asked how long the gears on my Screw Advance box joint jig will last. Well, I'm pretty sure now they'll last a very long time. Now I just need to think of some sort of woodworking machine that uses wooden gears for power transmission. Well, I just ran it for another 24 hours straight and the gears still look fine. I'm sure glad I didn't try to use a hand drill to power this.